is the smallest lens options for your Nikon 1 system. Nikon 1 10mm f2.8. I'm a pancake shooter, so my style of photography, if I have in fact any style, evolves around the focal lengths that are typically on pancake lenses. This is Nikon 1 Nikkor 10, the only pancake lens, I believe, for the Nikon 1 system. Well, it is funny because I would not really consider acquiring this Nikon 1 V1 if this lens didn't exist. The camera is compact enough for me, so I do not want to ruin the form factor by throwing a big chunk of lenses on it. I learned that Nikon has this little tiny piece of a lens, so I decided to buy this Nikon 1 V1, and the lens for this has to be and nothing else the Nikkor 10mm f2.8. I personally think that the build quality of the lens is part of its main selling points. Obviously, image quality is more important, but hey, we have to admit that it is crucial that the lens looks good on your camera. The lens is very small and sleek. I'm not sure whether it is made of metal or plastic, but I want to believe that it is made of metal. It feels like metal. It feels very solid, very well built. I'm not exaggerating. It is written here made in China, which we used to normally think as a generic product, but no, this is very solid indeed. You do not have an aperture ring, it's just a plain pancake. I had the Lumix 14mm f2.5, which has a comparable size. I will definitely say that this Nikkor 10 is way better and feels way more premium. I have the filter on here to protect the glass, which works really well. It just came with the lens when I bought it. The only thing I hate about my copy is the color. I want it to be black, but white is the only one I found on the marketplace here in my country. This lens is a 10mm lens, hence the name Nikkor 10, but with a 2.7 times crop factor from the sensor. It will make it around a 27mm equivalent. So it's pretty typical focal length for a pancake lens. It works great for your everyday carry, documenting your daily life, doing street photography, travels, and even vlogging, which I would not really do with my Nikon 1 V1. I will give you the samples anyway. So the aperture range is from f2.8 down to f11. When it comes to center sharpness, typically the lens gives you very good to excellent sharpness, even wide open at f2.8. But corner sharpness is a bit different. I would say good enough, but it may soften slightly wide open. It improves noticeably when stopped down to f4 to f5.6. Nevertheless, it is still decent. For daylight shooting and well-lit indoor shooting, f2.8 on this lens is fast enough. Obviously, you are not getting the best bokeh from the tiny CX sensor, but yeah, the bokeh is great. But I would prefer to have more of the object to be in focus for this type of daily carry camera, so it is not really a problem for me at least. In low light situations, you will feel the limitations of this lens, especially with this Nikon 1 V1 without a built-in flash. Nevertheless, it is still usable. I shot some night photography with this lens and camera, and it just feels great. It almost reminds me of my holy grail of pocket cameras, the Fujifilm X70. You can check my video about that camera. You do have a little bit of vignetting at f2.8, but it reduces significantly when stopped down to f4. But I bet you would not really notice if you are not looking closely. You might want to expect low color fringing, which is typical for a prime lens of this design. I mean, I shot this lens on a 10 megapixel CX sensor camera. It looks decent to me. I had Lumix 14mm f2.5 and I can confidently say that this lens gives me a better image quality. I shot the Lumix on a micro four thirds camera, which is Lumix GX1, and this Nikkor 10 on a CX sensor camera. That should say something. This lens is built for the Nikon 1 system. The autofocus is very fast and accurate. It is also silent, which is great thanks to the Nikon 1 system, because that is exactly what they promise, a fast autofocus. There is no physical focus ring, so everything is controlled inside the camera. And thankfully, it is reliable. You might want to know that this is a dead system. I do not know whether you can adapt this lens to other systems, so let's assume you can only use this on the Nikon 1 cameras. I have been using this lens as my main lens. It works really well. I believe you can still find this lens for around $100 to $200. Many people have the Nikon 1 system for its CX sensor, so we should not expect the system as well as the lens to be hyped, but anything can happen. You can check my review on the Nikon 1 V1 and why I think 10 megapixels is enough. My final verdict is that for a $100 to $200 lens, this thing is decent. Obviously, there is Nikon 1 Nikkor 32mm f1.2, which is considered the best Nikon 1 lens, but you have to pay 3, even 4 times as much. This Nikkor 10 is, I think, the best options with the smallest lens size possible that you can get for the Nikon 1 system, and the image quality is decent. What do you think? Well, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Au revoir.